Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program Talksports here on Global Television. I am Samuel Odi. Many thanks for joining on today's edition of the program. We are here talking sports. We'll have lots of conversation today. We'll talk rugby, table tennis, basketball, football. We'll also dwell more on AFCON as the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be taking on Algeria in the quarterfinals tomorrow, and also Mo Salah, the Liverpool star, and one of the leading players here in Africa and also for Egypt, is saying that Egypt have not been mentioned as the favorites to win the African Cup of All Nations that's currently ongoing in Morocco. We'll have that conversation. And also there are other aspects in the EPL yesterday. Arsenal found it very hard. They couldn't found it hard. They tried to get off cleared up with 8 points on the medal table, but Liverpool stood in their way and made sure that didn't happen. So the 2025-2026 EPL Premier League season is still open and the trophy is still open for grabs. But now, who is having the higher advantage to grab this is Arsenal still, because they've handled most of the big teams that they need to handle for this 2025-2026 season. Moving further, they have lesser teams to face, and which is going to be more like a must-win for them. They've battled Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester City, all of those teams, and they were mostly victorious in most of those matches, and then they've not even lost in 23. They've only lost 2 out of 23 games this season. So it's just interesting to see that Arsenal are very hungry and they are looking to actually make a very strong impact and a very, very strong statement by winning this season's EPL trophy. But like I mentioned earlier, there's still much to be done. The game and the matches are still very much open. So let's kickstart today's conversation with table tennis as Quadri Haruna Sofa's early exit at WTT Championship in Doha. It was a disappointing start for the Nigerian Quadri Haruna and other African table tennis star at the ongoing WTT Champions Doha, as Haruna and Egypt Hannah Gona bowed out early in the singles event of the single events of $500,000 tournament taking place in Lucia Sports Arena in Qatar. Haruna faced Chinese Lunjin in the round of 32 on Thursday, but it was a one-sided affair as Jun Kin, the tournament's 6th seed, climbed to a 3-0 convincing victory. Despite the loss, Haruna showed a glimpse of hope in his trademark power, suggesting he is easing into the new season after missing out on the 2025, after missing out on the WTT Cup finals in 2025. What could have been a key breakthrough for the Golden end in the defeat despite a spirited performance against the former world #1. The third and the fourth game were enthralled, filled with long rallies and precisions. The Egyptian came close to victory in the third, but the Young's composure carried her through the 15-3, through 15-13, and then the fourth followed a similar pattern, with Gonda fighting for every point before he sealed the match at 12-10 to complete the win to 3-1. Africans' hope now turn to the upcoming WTT star contender Doha 2026, which is scheduled to start from January the 13th to January the 18th, where Haruna, Ansari, and Gonda are expected to be joined by other African stars in what promises to be another thriller showcase at the Lusinian Sporting Arena in Qatar still. So it's just a lot that is happening. Haruna using in gradually into the WTT contender earlier this year. The year 2026 is open already, and a whole lot of competitions are coming up. And like I rightly mentioned before now, there's so much more. There's so much more that will be coming, and there's so much that will be done this year internationally, locally, and we're seeing our own Nigerian too representing, though not having the stats that he envisioned, but There's still another chance come next week where he would be also contending for another WTT championship. So we'll be looking at how all of that will turn out and how he would bounce back from this early exit that he suffered. For the record, Haruna has never suffered a magnitude of this before, in line with him being kicked out of a competition this early. So this is the first time it's happening in his professional career. So we will see how all of this will continue. So continue the conversation. Moving on, still Nigeria targets Global Rugby League recognition. Nigeria is stepping up efforts to become a major contender in the International Rugby League. The president of the Nigerian Rugby League Association, Abiodun Olewale Cole, says the association's strategy focuses on improved governance, strong media engagement, and increased sponsorship drive to boost Nigeria's presence in the global stage. He highlighted grassroots development through schools and community programs as key to expand the nation's talent pool, while regular coaching, clinic, referee training, and administrative workshops are being organized to strengthen technical capacity and professionalism. The president also said the association is also fostering ties with international rugby bodies to promote knowledge transfer, secure exposure, and increase Nigerian participation in the global competition. He added that efforts are underway to raise the profile of Nigerian players locally and abroad through competition exchange programs and digital platforms. So we are expecting to see all of these initiatives being introduced, and as well as, you know, the awareness of rugby also will be created. Now, it's not just football, it's not just basketball, it's not just track and field, and we have so much other sporting activities that Nigeria is looking to expand into and also create more awareness for, so as to be able to, you know, represent when the need be comes for, and also help take away lots of youth from the streets and give them a path to, you know, having a livelihood and also having a roof off their head. So let's move on now. This is talking about Akwa Ibom as Ibom Angels gets fined 2.5 million naira after Uyo violence. I've actually been waiting for this, and finally some sanctions are actually been happening. The Nigerian Women's Football League has fined Ibom Angels 2.5 million and ordered the club to play 3 home matches behind closed doors following crowd violence and the assault on Bayelsa Queens player and officials after the Premiership feature in Uyo as at Wednesday. The sanctions were announced on Thursday after the league reviewed match officials' report and video evidence from the match day 5 encounter. Supporters of Ibom Angels were found to have encroached onto the pitch and attacked members of the visiting team in an incident the league said breached its regulation and principles of fair play. Under the ruling, Ibom Angels were fined 1.5 million for contravening Article 26.1 on assault, intimidation, and offensive conduct, with an additional 1 million imposed for bringing in the game into disrupt and failing to provide adequate security. The club must also play its next 3 home game features without spectators in line with Article 16.16, subsection 4 of the Nigerian Women Football League regulation. The chief operating officer, Modukbe Shebi, said the measures were necessary to protect the competition. The closed-door feature will be Ibom Angels' home games against Ekiti Queens, Edo Queens, and the Niger Rattles, scheduled for January and February, respectively. So, finally, actions like this are always supposed to be taken, and I like the fact that this one even happened fast, because before now, we usually see issues like this happening and then it takes longer time before it gets addressed. But now this is so swift that it happened on a Wednesday, and then as a Thursday, early hours of late at night, at Thursday, the report reached us that, yes, this sanction has been, placed on Ibom Angels, which is something that we are hoping to see that it won't happen again. And then the fans, football is just all about togetherness, all about entertainment. Yes, if you lose today, you're going to win tomorrow. If you win tomorrow, you are going to probably lose the next match. So it doesn't amount to violence. It doesn't have to amount to violence. It doesn't have to amount to injuring people. It's just for fair play, and it's just a competition. At the end of the day, we're all brothers and sisters, so there is no need for all of the violence when it comes to sport. Not just sport now, like within the community, there is no need for violence. Peace is what everybody has been preaching, and peace is what sport preaches as well. So we are just expecting to see that, to hope that something like this wouldn't happen. Last year, we saw the same thing too in Ogun State, as Shooting Stars also got attacked. We saw the same thing in Kano. We saw the same thing in Maiduguri. So all of this is coming into our local sports. Although it's not just encouraging, and we are hoping that incidents like this, fans would always have to put themselves together. And again, teams always provide adequate security for your visiting teams, so as if any incident happened, there will be adequate security to be able to take care of those players, both the home-based players and also the visiting side as well. So there wouldn't be need for sanctions like this. So moving on now, let's move away from Nigerian local league and then talk about AFCON 2025 as the Super Eagles arrive in Marrakesh ahead of their Algerian clash. The Nigerian Super Eagles have landed in Marrakesh ahead of their African Cup of Nations quarterfinal clash with Algeria on Saturday. Saturday's clash will be a stand test for Nigerian team as they seek to maintain momentum and keep alive hope of lifting the fourth African Cup of All Nations title. In a video shared on X by reporters, it says Super Eagles were seen being welcomed by the people of Marrakesh. The Super Eagles are eyeing a place in the semi-finals after a dominant showing in the round of 16 and an intense build-up off the pitch. The three-time continental champions sailed their sport in the last 8 with a comprehensive 4-0 victory over Mozambique in Fez, extending their perfect run at the tournament. The build-up of Saturday's high-stakes encounter have been concluded by controversy over unpaid bonus, with reports of players unrest and threats to boycott training or travel. So we've passed all of that, we've passed all of that, but have we passed the part where the players are angry and threatening not to play or train? Yeah, we've passed it, because they're all at Marrakesh now, and then they are, training. But have we passed the part where their bonuses have been paid? No, we are still there. We've actually not passed there. It amounted to the point where Wilfred Ndidi is saying that he would pay the bonuses off for the Super Eagles and technical team if the government don't pay until today. So today is Friday. We are yet to hear, and then the NFF and the government is also saying that they will be making sure that they make that payment today. So we'll be looking, all hands are, our fingers are crossed on waiting to see what would happen if the NFF will actually make that payment today, because these individuals have played all of their matches and then they have won, giving us a perfect run. And we saw something like this happening again during the era of John Mikel Obi. Logistics was even the concern during the era of John Mikel Obi, that John Mikel Obi had to be the one to pay for the flights. That's when they went for World Cup in Brazil, if you all remember. John Mikel Obi had to pay for the flights. He also came out a couple of days ago to talk about that same incident that happened, and he also mentioned that the money is still yet to be refunded to him. You understand? So now, Wilfred Ndidi is stepping up to say, okay, if the NFF don't pay, then I will pay. No, we can't be going, into all of this over and over and over again, because it's actually shameful that every time it's Nigeria, Super Eagles, NFF, not paying bonuses and salaries or delaying it while these players are actually doing what they are all to. And again, reports have also reached us that allegedly that when they finish playing and then they don't get to collect their monies immediately, they don't receive their bonuses immediately, and then they get to go back to their club side and focus more on their career. Most of the time, according to reports, that they rarely get those bonuses back, which is not just so good to even talk about. So NFF, please, just do the needful, hand them their bonuses, and whatever they are meant to, that is due to them, just hand it to them, so as these guys would, continue performing the way they've been performing. And the clash against Algeria will be something very, very massive. And then we'll be looking at a quick history between these two sides. Let's look at a bit history between these two sides, because Nigeria have actually faced off Algeria before, and then it has been a very amazing and beautiful clash to see. But now, looking at it now from the record and how Algeria have been playing so far, they are looking very, very good. A lot of persons are favoring the Super Eagles to win. Of course, as a Nigerian, I'm also favoring the Super Eagles to win. But let's see how all of this will turn out now. Let's talk about Egypt first. Egypt will now take on champions Ivory Coast on Saturday for a place in the Final Four. Algeria and Nigeria will meet in the quarterfinals of CAF African Cup of Nations 2025, and they're in Marrakesh with a place in the semi-finals on the line. Both sides progressed through the group stage with a perfect record, and only two teams got to do that, but that achievement will count for little if either falls at this stage. It sets the tone for what promises to be a compelling contest in Marrakesh between two informed sides with title margin for error. On the Algerian, looking at Algeria on redemption journey, the Fierce Fox enter humiliating group stage exit as the last two edition of the African Cup of All Nations. But in Morocco, they have shown that lessons from those failure have been absorbed, turning them into the last eight. After an impressive group stage campaign, Algeria edged past DR Congo in the round of 16. A tense contest settled by super striker in the Abdine Balbo, the super sub, strike in the 119th minute of extra time. Valdemar Patkovic said a side has been built on defensive solidarity, conceding just one goal in 4 matches, with goalkeeper Lucas Zidane playing a key role, watched on from the start by his father, Zinedine Zidane, who has attended every Algerian match at the tournament. The defensive record will face its sternest test against Nigeria, who boost the competition most points attack with 12 goals in 4 games. So looking at the Nigerian attack now, the Nigerian attack is looking very, very good. Very, very strong, and very, very, they are on form. No injury concerns within the Nigerian squad. Basically, as we speak, no massive concerns, but Algeria are also having an injury concern where their number 10 jersey player might be out in the clash tomorrow because of some injury concerns. So looking at it now from those lights now, Nigerian defense have been tested. Nigerians scored 12 goals, and then they also conceded 4 goals. You understand? Algeria's defense is very, very solid, and they've only gotten to concede 1 goal in 4 matches. So looking at the thing now, it's different. Now, Nigeria needs to do better in its defensive lineup, and then Algeria have proven that they have a very, very strong defensive team, but they've not faced off the Super Eagles. Now, looking at these two sides now, it's going to be a very, very big clash. And then looking at the star qualities, that's the player Mahrez and the likes of Victor Osimhen. They have fast-paced and strong attacking players. They have strong midfielders, and also in the defensive end now, that is where we are going to know which team has a more physical and more tactical defensive lineup. We are going to see how all of that will pan out. But looking at it now, from the current statistics and what we are seeing currently in the EPL, I think from what we have on paper, Currently, the Algerian side have a better defense than the Super Eagles because the record is there. In 4 games, Algeria only conceded 1 goal, and then in the same 4 games, Super Eagles scored 12, but yet conceded 4 goals. So looking at it now, the defensive side of the two teams now, Algeria is looking more stronger than the Super Eagles, but now it's going to be a massive test for the Algerian defense now when they'll face up the like of Ademola Lookman, Victor Osimhen, Samuel Chukwueze, and Akko, James, and the likes of Paul Onacho, and all of that, all those super, strikers that we have in the Super Eagles, and then the massive midfield that comprises of Alex Iwobi, and then Wilfred Ndidi, as well as Frank Onyedika. I'm just saying because there might be a switch, because currently this was the squad that played the previous game, so now there might be a rotation by the team because Eric Chill always does rotation, so there might be a rotation for this squad as well. So we will see how all of it pans out, but they must surely face off Victor Osimhen, Ademola Lookman, and Samuel Chukwueze. And then in the midfield as well, they are also going to get face off Wilfred Ndidi and Alex Iwobi. Maybe Frank Onyedika will still be there. And then in the defensive line, we have Calvin Bassey and Co. So we'll see how all of this now will matter, because head-to-head now, I think defensively, Algeria have the better hand, and then in the midfield and attacking power, I think the Super Eagles are doing better in that area, better than the Algerians, based on the amount of goals that have been scored in this current competition. So we will see how all of this will pan out for them. But let's go on a quick break. When we return back, we'll still continue the conversation around AFCON, as the Malian coach says it is beyond our control, according to some concerns that he saw within Moroccan side. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Yes, many thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining, this is Talksports. We are now talking AFCON, and this is coming from the Malian coach, Tom Saint Faith, says it is beyond our control. Malian coach Steph reveals 2 problems in Morocco. The head coach of Mali, Tom Saint Faith, has revealed his 2 little problems in Morocco aimed the ongoing 2025 African Cup of All Nations. Steph noted that the only challenge he faced during the tournament in Morocco so far are the temperature and the rain, as he admits that these conditions are beyond our control. Obviously, those are natural concerns. The 52-year-old praised Morocco's exceptional organization of the tournament, acknowledging the host country's proven track record in managing larger-scale sporting events. So looking at this now, they are going to have a clash. They are going to have a game against Morocco, but still, he is not even bothered about that. He is not even bothered about the clash. He is more bothered about, the weather. Looking at it now, Morocco will be facing off after this information came after the match between Morocco and Mali. But now, looking at this now from this angle, the Black Stars of Cameroon have rejected the Arabian referee that has been appointed to officiate the match between Cameroon and Morocco. Now, all of this now is coming because they felt like there would be some kind of favoritism that will be coming from the Arabian guy, the Arabian referee. But now we would see what CAF will do, if there would be a change or they will still move on with this same referee. We'll see how all of that will actually pan out soon. So moving on, still talking AFCON 2025, we are not favorites. Salah speaks ahead of quarterfinal. Egypt's forward Mo Salah has insisted that they are not favorites to emerge champions at the 2025 African Cup of Nations. In an interview, Salah claimed that they were just ready to fight for their country. The Liverpool star have found the back of the net 3 times at the tournament as the Pharaohs progress into the quarterfinal. Egypt will now take on champions Ivory Coast on Saturday for a place in the final 4. So looking at this now, it shows that Mo Salah, they are just ready to fight, and they will just give in all they could give in until they win. So now, saying that they are not the favorites, they know that people have favored Ivory Coast more, looking at how fit they are, looking at how they've been performing, and the outcome of all of their matches has just been superb. Ahmed Diallo has won 3 man of the matches from 4 games, so you can see that the form that is in Ahmed Diallo and also in the Cameroonian team is just exceptional. So I understand what Mo Salah is saying. They needed extra time to be able to even advance to the quarterfinal that they are in as we speak. So we will see how this matchup will pan out. Saturday is just a couple of hours away, and we will see what will happen in these features. So moving on now, let's leave AFCON for a bit and then talk EPL standings, as Arsenal failed to open 8-point gap after a goalless draw with Liverpool. Arsenal failed to exceed their lead at the top of the Premier League following a 0-0 draw with Liverpool on Thursday night. The Gunners came into the game with a 5-point lead after Manchester City and Aston Villa both dropped points on Wednesday. City were held to a 1-1 draw at home by Brighton, while Villa played out a goalless draw at Crystal Palace. But Mikel Arteta's men failed to capitalize on this result as they also dropped points against the current champions. Despite starting well and dominating Arsenal did not score any goal and spent the second half containing Liverpool's attack. Now they have 49 points and remaining 6 points ahead of City and Villa together. So before I bring you the highlights of this match, let me quickly bring you up to speed with Chelsea's new boss, Liam Rosanio faces FA Cup test. Liam Rosanio's first match as Chelsea manager comes laced with Giants killing danger as it takes the Blues to second-tier Charlton in FA Cup third round. The troubled Tottenham boss Thomas Frank is fighting to avoid the sack, while Manchester United are also in turmoil as caretaker manager Darren Fletcher tries to lift the glooms but still settled for a draw. Looking at it, sport, 3 coaches in the spotlight as club takes a break from the Premier League constraints on the FA Cup this weekend. Rosanio set for Chelsea's debut. So we'll see how Rosanio will be able to manage all of this, but before he got fired from Plymouth Laos in 2024, he actually has been a very good coach. He understands the system of the championship. But now, I don't know if he understands the system of the EPL because it's totally different. But we will see what would happen and how he would, play out these matches and what strategies and formations he'll be introducing. So quickly, let's talk PSG as they beat Marseille on penalty to win a French Cup trophy. Paris Saint-Germain beats Marseille on penalties to win a Talksports French Champions Trophy in Kuwait. This happened last night. PSG goalkeeper Lucas Xavier was the hero of the night. 7-2 spot kicks as PSG took the penalty lottery 4-1 after a frenetic end to the match that left the two sides locked at 2-2. Darius Dunio converted the decisive spot kick after Xavier had saved the effort from Marseille's Martins O'Reilly and Hamad Torres kicks. PSG has taken an early lead when their Ballon d'Or winner attacker Ousmane Dembele drifted left the ball over Marseille's keeper Jerome Roule, and then the trajectory continued like that. They scored. PSG had the lead, and then Marseille came from behind to score 2-1, and then PSG finally found the back of the net to settle it for 2-2, and they advanced into penalty, and the current UEFA Champions League champions, advanced to win in penalty 4-1, and their goalkeeper was the hero for the night. So let me bring you the highlight between the game of Liverpool and Arsenal as they settled for a goalless draw. Arsenal couldn't advance 8 points clear on the EPL standings, and also in the La Liga as well, we saw actions yesterday. Atlanta versus Real Madrid will also bring you that highlight as Real Madrid were also victorious. Conversations, rumors are still around Real Madrid with the fact that they're saying Xavi Alonso might be sacked as the manager. But we'll definitely get you the update, the actual report when we find out what the team management and the hierarchy, what decision they will take. Well, for now, here's a highlight between Arsenal and Liverpool, and then we'll follow that up with that of Real Madrid as well.